Oh, hi! I know things behind me are a mess, but hey, studio lights are up. My shit is mostly back together. I know this does not indicate that. After the events I've been working, this month has just been bonkers. September is always really busy for me, but also very productive. So I still have a couple things I'm in the middle of doing, but I ran my serger very hard and it got mad at me. So I have to give it a little TLC and then I will finish this project behind me. And I don't need to show you the rest of my desk. That is not for your eyes. And anyways, the point of today's project is that it's a no-sew portable group of people that are new to crafting and also inebriated can handle type project. And today we're gonna test this shit out. To explain more, I am doing my first craft night kind of class type thing at Lithermans Limited Brewing Company. I actually just think they're called Lithermans Limited. I don't think there's a brewery or brewing company at the end of that. It is a brewery. They make their own beer there. And this is a can I picked up the other day. It's one of their newer sours. I have not tried it yet, but holy hell, this artwork. This isn't sponsored by them. I'm not getting paid to do this, so I just want to have a beer. You all saw last week, if you watched the video I did trying to make my dog some Hogwarts robes, or as someone titled them, Dogwarts robes, and I am in love with it. The level of focus and commitment I have to a project when I am consuming alcohol is greatly decreased, so this is kind of me testing it. Here's what you need. Fuck yes. Oh, this is everything I was hoping. Man, I really like sours. If you are someone that doesn't think you like beer, give a sour a try. They don't have that beer taste to them. I know that sounds dumb because it is a type of beer, so of course it's gonna have a beer taste. But if you don't like beer because you don't like the beer taste, that flavor does not show up in my favorite sours. Give it a shot if you're willing to. If you're at a brewery, you see something that says sour, give it a try. Okay, anyways, I'm actually pretty calm today, but I'm sure the day of the event, by the way, it's the day this video is coming out. Oh my gosh. Okay. Hey, if any of you are near Concord, New Hampshire, it's still technically southern New Hampshire, but a little more centrally located. It's $10. You get a pint with your ticket and the materials for the project, so nothing super expensive or anything. It's from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. at Lithermans Limited Tap Room off of exit 12S, 126B Hall Street in Concord, New Hampshire. But yeah, I don't know what to expect with this. I don't know what kind of crowd is going to show up, if a ton of people are going to be there or if no one's going to show up. I'm kind of prepared for both. My friend Jim is going to help me. Hi Jim, if you're watching this. And yeah, I'm just hoping it'll help people get out of the headspace where they're I don't know how to make stuff. This is a super easy project and it's beer related, so it's a fun thing. Oh, by the way, I'm going to show you how to make a koozie. That's this whole thing. And hey, listen, if you're watching this, and sometimes you drink when you watch these videos, unless you're coming to the event, then pause it and come to the event. But if you're the type to have a beer while you're kicking back, catching up on YouTube shit, wait till you're home and able to also crack a beer with me and then give something like this a try, or at least watch it and be yeah, I could probably handle that. I really would like feedback on these kinds of projects and also suggestions on what to do in the future, because this is my main idea. I have one other one I've done a video on before. And also, hey, if there are past videos I've done that this seems like a good idea that's coming to mind, because I'm blanking on everything but one, let me know, because I'm very excited about this being a potential recurring thing, but I also need to not put the cart before the horse and get through today's adventure. So yeah, I'm excited, scared, trying not to get my hopes up too high. I do have a tendency to do that, although with age I have become jaded and less naive about these things. I don't know if this is coming off as condescending, me being it's the easiest shit in the world, because if someone has trouble with it, I don't want them to feel like they're dumb or inadequate or something. Rather than me telling you about how easy and quick and everything it's going to be, how about we get into it, shall we? I am shockingly already about a third of the way through this. It's just so good, and it doesn't taste like beer. It's not very high alcohol. It's 5.2, which is, for craft beer, pretty low, I have to say. At least the craft beer near me. That's in the session ale category. Or my favorite term for it, a lawnmower beer. Perfectly paints an image where you can be doing something that would otherwise be a chore but now becomes enjoyable, but you're not getting so out of your mind drunk when you're doing the thing because it's really low alcohol. I'm cheating a little bit because hey, I made a pattern. I will mark all the measurements and dimensions of this and the cording we're going to be using for it and add it up on my Patreon. I'll do a little scan of it. Any tier will have access to it, and or if you come to the event you will have access to these. This is what it looks like. There's a square and another square and then a round kind of bit and a bunch of holes. Great. killing it already. I'm also using faux leather. I did cut this down to the correct width just because it's expensive. I don't want to leave that part up to people attending the event. I want them to just have the amount that they need for the project. Not that I'm saying I don't trust people drinking beer with scissors, but like this is about $1.50's worth of the material I bought. I'd rather not get it all hacked up. But yeah, it's as wide as this thing. So for marking things, I will additionally need some type of marker, pen, pencil, some writing utensil, the blood of your enemies, whatever you feel like using. Some scissors. These are rusty old ones that I found in a sewing box from my aunt's great aunt or something. Also in that box were weed screens. I know I must sound like the biggest narc saying that, but they're like the screens you put in your bowl and stuff, I imagine. It was definitely like a nefarious material to have been sitting in a sewing box for like 30 plus years. It was very, very funny when we opened it. Those went to a good home somewhere in the world, but I kept all of the actual sewing implements. Also need a hole puncher. The first iteration of this I did use an actual leather punch for, but this vinyl, this fake leather vinyl stuff, is stiff enough that it will take a punching from one of these things, and these are at the dollar store. P.S. Why I want to use this instead of leather is it's cheaper, it's less gross, and also waterproof. This also isn't going to fray or anything, so you don't have to worry about what the edges look like. Then for the cording, I'm actually using this parachute cord. It's all synthetic, which is what you want. So you're going to take another tool, which is your handy dandy lighter. I've had this for at least a decade, and it has literally only ever been used for burning string ends because that's just how wild and crazy I am. But if you just take your lighter and carefully go over the ends, it'll melt it. Give it a second because it's going to be hot and smoky. And then yeah, there'll be like a balled up melted bit instead of this big open frayed end over here. Take your time with doing that because sometimes I have gotten a little ahead of myself. Things went south with the fire, so don't do that. So just remember to do the melting on both ends. So I cut my length. Again, I'll have the measurements for everything on my Patreon if you're interested in checking it out. And also, hey, I understand when like people don't have the money to support me on Patreon. If you're willing to put in the trial and error effort into this, that's all I did, is I just did a couple different prototypes and kind of worked out the kinks. This is how we got here. And the other thing you're gonna need is a beverage vessel. This particular design is good for typical cans. I know this is a tall boy, but it's still the same width as a 12-ounce can, which is like a typical buy a 12 pack of Bud Light, whatever, that size can. Soda can also. And will also work for beer bottles. Unless you're drinking out of like a 40, you might need to change the measurements, but otherwise this will cover you. Like I said, please don't mind the mess on the desk. It's just gonna be here for a couple days until I get time to sort through the rest of it. I'm gonna get stencil and a strip of the vinyl. I'm gonna lay the pattern down. I'm thinking of grabbing some tape and or clips, like these little clips, or even just bulldog paper clip type things. And I'm gonna trace this weird M shape. Something I need to emphasize to every person as they're taking the scissors is to not cut across here. It's probably going to kind of be in their instinct to, like, once they're cutting this straight, to go all the way across, but that's not going to work. It's going to fuck up the whole structural integrity of this thing. And then while I'm here, I'm also going to mark all of the little punch holes. And then we cut along the lines. Can't believe these scissors work as well as they do. There's even a broken tip on one of them. So as long as you're holding them with this guy on the bottom, it still cuts beautifully. I don't understand. What happened to you? Voila. Now this and this are the same shape. Just gotta cut out the little holes. This is how I like to fuck with a hole puncher. I can't believe I'm explaining to you how I hole punch things right now, but just in case you haven't used one and like your marks are off, because sometimes mine used to be before I was like, oh, do it upside down. If you hover the hole right over the mark you made, it should come right out. It's a little harder to squeeze and sometimes there's still a little hanging chad, but generally it's gonna go fine. Yeah, like this. And then all you do is go back and clip it with this. It's all gonna be fine. Okay, so Bert was getting restless, so I sat with him and we played fetch for a bit, and he's currently destroying one of his squeaker toys. I think he'll chill for a couple more minutes while I can do the last little tidbit. Also, realized I either need like a full unopened can or an empty can, just so I don't spill a bunch of shit all over myself for the next one, because we do need to form the little koozie around this, and having it partially full would just lead to lots of unnecessary mayhem. Plus I gotta test this on people that have been drinking, so like it's for science. So we're gonna place our little dude on the middle bit. This will honestly be easier with a full unopened can because it's going to have more weight to it. But someone drank all my beer, so here we are. It was very obviously me. So I'm going to loop my cord through the top 2 loops and then lace them honestly however you want. The length I have it cut is because I lace it this way, but if you want to do some fancy other lacing techniques, you go right ahead and do your thing. You will notice I'm not going to tie it off yet. I'm going to get the other side going. I'd recommend making the sides match, but like do whatever you want to do. Get creative with it. This is the whole point of doing these craft nights, is getting people out of their own heads. I'm actually excited about the fact it doesn't seem to be a thing where you have to have your tickets ahead of time, because I'm hoping maybe there'll be some cranky old guys that are there just for the regular tap room ambiance, and they can look over at what I'm doing and be like, what the hell's all that stuff? And I can be like, you should come make a thing. And I'll be like, I can't make things. And then I will show them the goddamn creative light. It's not going to get that aggressive, but I think it will surprise people how good they are at making things. That's kind of the purpose I'm going into this with. I think it'll be really cool, but also I'm just intrinsically a creative type, so maybe that's just how my brain works, and some people just aren't gonna be into it, and I need to also be okay with that being an outcome. Okay, back to what we were doing before I got up on my cheesy soapbox. So we're just gonna pull our sides tight, do a little knot at the bottom. It's just like lacing up a pair of shoes. And there you have a cute little beer koozie. I mean, no, it's not masterfully working with leather or anything like that, and not the most expert level shit you'll ever do, but I think it's a good beginner project. I really like how it came out. The other thing I'm gonna offer to people, you can also metal stamp the vinyl. So I just printed beer onto it. I thought it was a cute little accent. People can get their shit monogrammed. Just adds a little extra personal touch to it. So yeah, I'm excited for this. I know most of you probably can't make it out to this event. I absolutely get it. Most of you aren't local, and no, I certainly don't have spending money right now, so I get even a $10 event can be prohibitive. I get it, man. I do. I would absolutely love feedback on your thoughts on this kind of project and any recommendations like I was asking about before. I think it would be really cool to have input from other people, because I only know what I'm interested in. I can't predict what other people are going to be interested in. Let me know your thoughts in the comments and let's have a little discussion about it. By the time this is up, I will probably be frantically checking my phone just for any communication from anybody for the hour leading up to the event happening, so I would appreciate hearing from you if you happen to see this when it's like first out. I am also seeing how easy it is to lace this, just holding it and then fitting it to the can afterwards. Like I said, I will have specific measurements and the breakdown of everything and the lengths of the string over on my Patreon if you have any interest in checking that out. It's because of my pals over there that I'm able to post videos as often as I do, so thank them for letting that happen. They're the best, and you're welcome to come be a part of it. If you would like to buy some handmade things from me, I do have an Etsy shop. I'll link in the description if you have any interest in checking that out. You can also just come do the free shit, like follow me on Twitter and Instagram. I have been posting every day so far this month of a thrifted outfit for secondhand September. I can't believe I've actually stuck with it this long. I'm planning to do a whole video on it at the end of this whole month to kind of do like a recap, roundup, and maybe show some of my favorite outfits, maybe show a couple of things that are not continuing to live in my closet anymore in a surprising twist. I was not expecting that to happen. We'll get into it in that video. That'll be out next Wednesday. But before that even happens, I will see you all back here with another video this Saturday. Thank you all so much for hanging out. I don't think that was really common a few years ago, so the fact I don't know why getting a text message just now scared me that much. Whew.